This is Brisbane's #1 rated property hotspot and one of the best places to buy property in all of Australia.
And we're going to compare buying in this location to Brisbane's most affordable property hotspot, all the way down to #3 rated in the top 3 Brisbane locations. It's the city of Logan.
Look at these idiots, eh? Breaking the first rule of Fight Club. Now we can see that Logan is a low socioeconomic area, yes, but it's gentrifying and it's gentrifying fast. Let's take a closer look at why buyers and investors should be watching closely. For an affordable area like Logan, close proximity to 2 cities is a major attraction for residents looking to move here. 25 minutes north and you're in Brisbane City. Just under an hour south and Logan residents are living it up on the sunny beaches of the Gold Coast. Logan's population is skyrocketing.
It's expected to increase 6% from 2024 to 2026, many of those attracted by Logan's diverse employment opportunities. We can see here education and training, healthcare and social assistance. These are vital metrics to understand the gentrification of Logan. And with new projects on the way, such as the $460 million Logan hospital expansion, things are only looking up. Before we look at the best suburbs to buy in Logan, we need to make sure that we're avoiding the risks.
Navigating public housing here is a bit of a minefield.
While public housing is an important social good, it can create hairy situations for property investors. We can see here on Picki.com.au that Logan Central is crammed with public housing. This is an insane amount, and as a buyer or investor, stay away. Instead, look for lower levels of public housing in Logan, particularly those areas that have ease of access to the highway. From a purely data perspective, suburbs such as Eagleby or Tanah at that slightly higher price point score very well on the Ripehouse algorithm, with attractive rental yields and scores of 87 and 96%.
Keep in mind, in this video, we're going to visit Brisbane's and potentially Australia's best location to buy property.
But next, #2 on our list, the city of Ipswich.
Like any area, Ipswich has its challenges.
We need to rule out 3 major risk factors in order to reveal Ipswich's most promising suburb.
With close proximity to the Bremer and Brisbane rivers, Ipswich has had a significant history of flooding, including notable events in 2011 and 1974.
Checking flood zones is a must, or you risk high, cash flow killing insurance premiums. Or even worse, your house underwater. We can see here to avoid these surrounding flood risks. Ipswich is also prone to new housing supply, and more supply means less demand. So I'm going to open up Picki, which is the free property research tool that you've seen in this video. The link is in description. And we can use Picki to rule out some of those southern areas of Ipswich, for example, the suburb of Ripley, where new construction is at 31%. And thirdly, we need to once again avoid public housing at the suburb and street level. Take, for example, the actual suburb of Ipswich, where these streets in the north are crammed with public housing. 25% plus is very high, and this sometimes causes serious problems.
Now, it's no secret that Ipswich has had a bit of a bad reputation with crime and drugs. Yeah.
But good news, things are on the up and up. Ipswich's population is set for a 9% increase by 2026. Plus, Ipswich has a great and growing diversity of employment.
This focus on employment diversity, particularly health and social services, indicates a stable and reliable local economy.
New projects are on their way with a high per capita spend of $31,000.
These significant investments in amenities such as CBD upgrades, retail spaces and dining precincts all strengthen the area's attractiveness for investors. Ipswich is well serviced with hospitals, healthcare facilities, universities and education centres. It's a satellite area attached to Brisbane that offers easy commuting to the city.
Ipswich is also heavily supported by state government initiatives
that aim to attract population growth and make Ipswich a key satellite area for Brisbane.
The commute time for Ipswich residents is outstanding.
And Brisbane is just a half-an-hour drive away.
For such close proximity to a major capital city, the asking price in many of these suburbs is excellent, especially when put against comparables such as Melbourne or Sydney. There are many affordable options below that $600 or even $500K price point.
Ipswich is more than just affordability and short commute times to the city. There's something special going on here. It's a place of growth, community and opportunity, and for investors, a chance to be part of something big.
So, here's where the most promising investment opportunity in Ipswich can be found. It's a suburb in Ipswich's east, It's Goodna.
Goodna is in close proximity to some of the most prestigious areas in Ipswich and Brisbane, including Alexander Heights, Brookwater, Moggle, and Bellbowery, where properties can cost up to $1 million.
With a more affordable medium house price of $590K, yields at 4.9%, and a tight rental market with vacancy rates at 1.4%, Goodna has some of the best investment hotspots in the entire LGA. But we need to remember those three major risk factors of investing in Ipswich. While Goodna may be safe from new supply, these streets in the north are flood impacted. And the houses on the hill, as we can see here on Picki, have very high levels of public housing, leaving just this middle band as investment grade. We can be even more specific on Picki and filter only streets with an acceptable number of owner-occupiers, leaving these three areas as the best streets to buy in all of Ipswich. And Ipswich itself ranks at number 2 of the best locations to buy property in Brisbane. This brings us to number 1 on our list, the best location to buy and invest in Brisbane. And from an advisory level, there is a strong indication that this location is where Perth was 12 to 18 months ago. And this isn't just some random guess, all right? Ripehouse Advisory's internal algorithm analyzes Australia's 15,000 plus suburbs of these 25 plus data sets. It's what gives Ripehouse the competitive advantage to beat the market and invest in property before it goes up in value. Industry leading data plus industry experience of more than 20 plus years has created results for clients like these. If you'd like to get in contact with the team and see how Ripehouse can help you with your property investment journey, then head to the link in the description below and we can discuss how to make that happen. If you're not quite ready, in the meantime, feel free to research property markets around the country that might pique your interest with Picki. It's free and it's a great resource for property investors who are feeling and gathering more information about the market. Now, with this in mind, the number 1 local government area in all of Greater Brisbane is the actual city of Brisbane. I'm going to show one suburb to avoid and one that could be worthy of our attention.
In Brisbane, the people are warm and the sun shines 300 days a year. Even in winter, the fun never stops. Parks, markets, riverside bars, and the ecstatic nightlife are some of the many attractions driving up demand to live here. Brisbane has some promising projects on the horizon.
And a per capita spend of $19,000.
And don't forget, with the Olympic Games coming to Brisbane in 2032, we can expect Olympians and investors to be getting the gold. The state government predicts that the Games have the potential to generate 130,000 direct opportunities of employment,
adding to the already very diverse job market. And 11-minute commute times for workers is outstanding.
The population of the city of Brisbane may not be skyrocketing at the same rate as Logan, but if we peel back the layers and take a closer look, there's potentially something very interesting going on here.
While 3.7% population growth over the next 2 years is still high, it's not off the charts like some other areas in the country. But here's the thing, we know Brisbane has a diverse job market and still has very low unemployment rates, meaning there's jobs and even more on the way that need to be filled. Employers are desperate to find workers, which means that the city of Brisbane relies on international and domestic migration, but there's no homes for them to move to. Builders and supply costs are falling well short of target, and there's not enough homes being built. Is 3.7% really representing everyone who wants to move here? Or is it more representing how many properties are actually available for people to move into? Meaning that potentially there's a tremendous amount of unmet demand, and that unmet demand creates price pressure. Price pressure doesn't occur when you have 100 people wanting to move to an area with 100 available houses. It occurs when you have 100 people, but only 50 houses for them to move into, because 2 people sharing demand for the same home creates pressure. And that's what we're seeing in the Brisbane market. Demand, lifestyle factors, population pressure, but just not enough homes for it to be a high population growth area, because there's a huge backlog of needed housing. This already established central Brisbane area, or Brisbane proper, is extremely undersupplied, and there's not much ability for them to build new housing. There's high building costs, long wait times, and a lack of developable land, as long as we don't go too far out west. It's this middle band here that we're looking at. But it's also here where all these lifestyle factors and jobs are, creating price pressure and demand. Property investment is a science, and for Brisbane, it's tick, 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 tick. Now, a suburb to avoid? Zilmere. We can see high clusters of public housing, but there's also high new supply risk with units being built.
Mate, I'm down here at the unit complex and it's locked. What's going on, hey? Christmas. Mate, this is all time that we could be building units. Mate, I'll have my morning coffee and I'll units, all right? Mate, I'm gonna build a unit and I'm gonna put a unit inside the unit. You understand? Mate, they call me the big unit, mate.
However, a suburb that is worth looking at is Durack. Close access to the train line and those inner Brisbane drivers of utility. But once again, we do need to do those thorough checks here on Picki to find those prime investment opportunities. Overall, the city of Brisbane is worthy of its spot as our #1 property hotspot in all of Greater Brisbane. Thank you for watching, and remember, in the world of real estate investment, knowledge is your key to unlocking potential.